Hi, everyone. It's Tom with On Campus College Planning. If you are watching this, you probably clicked on a link in our newsletter. Glad you did. And if you found it some other way, that's fantastic as well. What I'm going to be talking about is better campus visits in 2021. And it's all part of a bigger message that we need to get moving and start looking for those colleges to which we're going to apply. We're not making a final decision, folks. We're just shopping, and everybody likes to shop at least a little bit. And you can do this from the comfort of your own home in most cases. So I'm going to share my screen real quickly here, and we're going to jump in, and I want to teach you all about the reality of visiting campuses right now. So let's do that. Here we go. Okay, so better campus visits in 2021. I'm going to try to limit the number of times that I say COVID. Okay, so we're not going to talk about that a whole lot. And we're going to start off with like the glory days. This is back in, gosh, 2016, I think. One very, very hot summer where I toured 22 different campuses in a period of 6 days. And a lot of those were formal campus visits where you sign up and, you walk around with a tour guide and a bunch of families, et cetera. But a lot of them were less formal things. I'm going to talk about a little bit of that today as well, because that's another way that we can learn a lot about a campus. This was I think the last one that I visited Missouri. I was very tired at that point, and I look like I'm tired. So one of the things that you can do is you can start with this, and this was another link in that newsletter, the Campus Visit How To Handbook. 10 never skip steps for making the most of campus visits. I wrote this a couple of years ago. I think it's really good, just to pat myself on the back. I think there's a lot of great information in there, and it's something you can kind of jump into, look at a little bit. It's kind of a big PDF, so you can print it off if you want, or you just kind of pull up the parts that you want. And there's some really great resources within it and some real practical types of things, because that's what this is about, is kind of becoming practical. Now, as much as you might say, well, you wrote this a few years ago, so you might as well just throw that out. No, 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 no. Most of what you're going to find in there still applies today. And most parts of the college admissions process and even finding the right colleges is the same as it's ever been for a long, long time. And I want to emphasize that. Again, in the blog, I'm talking about how to get started on your college search, what is and isn't different. So don't assume, don't make assumptions that everything is different, because it's just not true. Okay. In the how-to handbook, we've got some kind of cool and fun things like this campus visit bullet journal that Hillary created, some things to jot down. I'm going to show you some more resources like this towards the end. But what I really want to get into right now, first of all, we're going to start with a couple of truths. Number one, the campus visit. It's the most powerful tool that you have in your search for the University of You. And I mean, that's why, look at the corner. My company, our company is called On Campus College Planning, because I firmly believe in the power of getting on campus, talking to people, learning about things, asking a lot of questions, and being right there. All right. So that is a truth. Campus visits are incredibly powerful. And the second one is that most families don't do that great of a job. They take kind of a passive role. And I'm not trying to diss you, but you know what? I've been on 135 campus tours and campus visits. And so I've seen a lot. And I know that most people kind of walk around and shake their heads and listen, but don't ask a lot of questions, and they don't interact nearly as much as they can. So we're going to be talking about that today. And the focus, and this is going to be a pretty short video. I'm really going to try to hit the key points. The focus is what to do now in 2021. Okay. And it's not if we should visit, it's when. Quick answer is now. All right. How we should visit, because some things are going to be a little bit different, and why. And the why, you know what? Most of the whys have stayed the same. The reasons why people tell me that they're going to visit a campus, that first one, I just got an email the other day. Hey, we're going to be in town for this tournament, a basketball tournament, soccer tournament, whatever it might be, a cheer competition. And we just thought we should take a look around. Do you have any campuses we should look at? Yeah, that hasn't changed, because most of the time when people are doing those things, they're not signing up for a formal campus tour. Oh, we got games all weekend. We're just going to try to sneak over there. Okay, that's what I call a drive-by campus visit. You might just literally be driving by and through the campus. That hasn't changed. Or you get out and you walk around and you find a map or something, and that hasn't changed either. So that part hasn't changed so far. And of course, people want to learn more about that college. They want to learn about the, the programs and the people and the places, and I'll address that. And really, they want to figure out if I should apply here or not to make a final decision. So that's one of the big takeaways that I hope you got from reading the blog is that your college search is about starting to find the places where you're going to apply, not the one perfect college, because that perfection can lead to paralysis. And so that part hasn't changed either, right? Don't assume that all campuses are closed. Um, I talked to a family who said, we got in the car, we drove 8 hours. We decided we were just going to go visit this campus, and that was fine. We learned all we could online. We printed out maps, etc. And we went there and we met with a student that we knew through a friend. And then we're walking around and we look over, and here's like a campus tour, sort of a one-on-one thing going on, and somebody with the college badge there. And so they go to admissions. They're like, "What's going on? I thought you guys were closed." They're like, "Oh no, we just sort of opened up campus tours, but you got to call in advance. We haven't updated our website." Okay, well, they had a great visit anyways, but don't assume that everything is closed. And I'm going to show you a couple that are open right now. There's a partial list from a while back. And don't be afraid to just call admissions or the academic department. If you're going to major in physics, call the physics department and say, "We'd really like to meet with someone. We know you may not be able to give us a full tour, but can we meet with an advisor," something like that. So you may need to be a little bit more proactive as opposed to just, it's pretty easy to sign up for a campus visit, just clicking on the website and things like that. So here's an example of a place that is open. This is not very far away from where I'm sitting in Madison, Wisconsin. Lake Forest College, a wonderful, wonderful national liberal arts college just north of Chicago, out in a very nice suburb, by the way, Lake Forest. And look what they say here. Make the most out of your campus visit, whether it is virtually or in person. We can customize your visit according to your interests. And then they're saying we're welcoming a limited number of visitors on campus. Okay. And you got to wear a mask and social distancing. I get that. And then right at the bottom there, they're like, you know what? If you can't find a time that works, call Judy or Jody. Jody will hook you up. Okay. And oh, by the way, look at this further down. Below Jody's phone and email. Hope she gets a lot of contact through this, by the way. Um, First year and transfer students applying for spring 2021 and fall 2021 who take part in a virtual visit campus will receive $2,000 annually toward their cost of attendance at the college. You can make 8 grand, all right? More if you stay longer. You can make 8 grand from visiting a campus. Think about the gas, think about the tolls getting down into Illinois and back. It's a pretty good return on investment. So don't assume that every place is closed just because you think that most places are closed. So I pulled up some screenshots from Washington State University. I have never been. I would love to go to Pullman. I know a little bit about it. I know a few people that have been there, but I have never been. So I was looking at this earlier, and this is just straight off of their admissions page, and I'm going to show you just a couple of options and things that they have. So for virtual visits, Washington State and a lot of other colleges have this third-party software. UVisit, you can see it down in the bottom left-hand corner. That's a company that comes around and they do this. And they've actually been doing this for a long time. So kind of what's amazing is that people didn't know there were virtual visits in the past, because we wanted to go visit. But I've been talking about these for a long time. Hey, if you can't get there, I mean, Pullman is, it's not a easy flight from Madison, Wisconsin. You got to think about it a little bit. It's going to take some time, but why not do a virtual visit like that? So they have these things, and often you get this little person standing in the corner that pops up and they kind of walk you around. And you know what? It's pretty much like taking the actual campus tour. And no, I don't get to see what the sunlight is like there, or smell, or bump into people, et cetera, like that. But I get a pretty decent idea of the buildings and the spaces between them, et cetera. And then Washington State also has this more personalized. So they kind of did this in-house a little bit. So Yasmin gives a really nice overview of the entire campus. And so if I'm looking at those kinds of things, I can start to get a feel for what it's like. I mean, look, this is out in eastern Wisconsin, Washington. This isn't the Seattle kind of stuff. This is, there's some mountains off there and there's a bunch of wheat fields and things. It's kind of interesting. And they talk about all the hills on campus. I would have thought it's super flat. I don't know, but I'm starting to get interested in Pullman and that area. And that's exactly what this should be about. They've got a nice chat function here. Have questions about life at WSU? Live chat with a Coug Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I'm going to show you some questions to ask of college students in just a little bit, but why not? Why not ask them some questions? You're not agreeing to anything. You're not committing. You're not doing a down payment. You're just having a conversation. Okay. And then there's more information about the virtual presentations, which obviously everybody has. And here, life in Pullman. So you can learn more about the city, residence life, which is great. You can kind of tour some of the dorms, see what that's like. And then the academic ones, the financial aid, honors college, things like that, which are really, really great. And down at the bottom, it lists academic presentations. Now, that's one area in which I think colleges have really stepped up their game. So they're not just offering, a canned version of what you would do if you walked around campus with someone, and they're not just offering that info session that's usually 45 minutes with a admissions counselor before or after the tour. They're talking more about the actual academics, which is great because you know what, the buildings are fascinating and I want to see the spaces and hear why someone chose a college, but I'm actually going there to be a college student and to take classes and to major in something and graduate. And most of the time when people are taking campus tours, they're not getting a lot of information other than, we have a whole bunch of majors, and you can find out more here. So that's better. In fact, this is also from Washington State. Academic presentations. So you can, if you're going into communications, vet science, et cetera, you can find the one that's tailored to you. Even some things that are really specialized. Look at the College of Education stepping up their game, athletic training and kinesiology, sport management, elementary ed. That's great. Why not do one of those as well? Okay. And a lot of those are their live sessions, and the live sessions are better than the canned ones, just in case you want to ask a question. And I think it's a really good thing to make an appointment with yourself and do something like this. Whether or not you're wearing your pajamas doesn't matter to me. So now what? Well, connecting with people has not changed that much because my thesis would be that when people went onto campuses, they didn't do much in terms of connecting. When the tour guide says, "Does anyone have any questions?" Usually people kind of look around and there aren't a whole lot of questions. And there's a dad that starts to talk and he gets an elbow in the ribs from his daughter, who's like really embarrassed by her dad asking so many questions. So maybe it's going to be easier to connect now that we can't go in person to most of these places, right? Connect with admissions reps, people within the departments that you want to talk to, and then students as well. Now, here's great news. We're really good at reaching out to people and talking to people that we're not in the same room with. We do it every day. We do it on social media. We do it all the time via email at work and school, via Zoom like this. So we're already really good at that. We're really good at like searching for things on the internet. So all we have to do is take some of those tools and apply them to something that matters a whole lot more than a TikTok video. Sign up for whatever, they can send you. Follow them on social media. You're going to get some newsletters and things like that. Great. Listen, read. If you don't want to listen, unsubscribe. No big deal, right? And really do sit in on those online info sessions at specific times, because I think that's really great. And it just makes it a little bit more real. And like, challenge yourself to ask a question. When they say, hey, you can type a question over here, challenge yourself to ask a question, which brings me to this. I'm going to read this because I believe this. We focus on the buildings, the rankings, the cost, the location, the majors, the job placement rate. We rarely know much about the people until we show up for classes in the fall and we've already paid their first semester tuition and room board. And it's true. Colleges is about getting that, piece of paper and that whole experience, but it's about people, right? It's about connecting with other people and figure out, like, is this my tribe? And are these the professors that I want to work with, right? That I want to work really, really hard with, and they're going to set me up for success on the other end. So here's Kalamazoo College, more opportunities for you to connect with students. I love that. And I know there's issues of sort of personal space online and talking to people and all of that kind of stuff and your privacy data, whatever. But again, they're giving you opportunities to ask a student at kzoo.edu. I think that's cool. A student will respond within 2 business days, or to call a student and just call them up and talk to them, right? Just do it. There's no harm in it. So back to that how-to handbook. We've been doing this in various forms for a long time. And these are the 3 magic questions that you should ask of 10. It says 5, but I think 10 students on any campus visit. So you're gonna have to work a little bit harder. But if I go back here to Kalamazoo, you know what? I'm gonna email them once. I'm gonna go online and do the chat function and ask the same questions. I'm gonna talk to someone. Pretty soon, they're gonna know that it's Johnny Smith from Madison, Wisconsin, because he keeps calling and texting or whatever. That's great. You can talk to a lot of different people and you can get a lot of different opinions. And the questions I've got, why did you choose this college and what are the colleges where you're considering? And then the magic wand. What one thing would you change about this? Read more about that because I explain in the how-to handbook, I explain why we're asking those questions and what we hope to get from them. And this is part of a PDF that you can print out and kind of take with you and jot down some things. And I talk about how to document that. And it's all really good, and a lot of it's really the same, folks. It really isn't different. And the professor chat, oh my God! I mean, we've got opportunities. They're they're busy. They're on Zoom calls, that kind of stuff. You know what? It's always been hard to actually talk to a professor, and I think you probably even have a better chance now because they're just so used to the fact that they've got to respond to people, via email, via text. Uh, all of those ways by a phone call. So that's even better to talk with people like that. So in some ways, we're kind of setting ourselves up for success. And then also from the how-to handbook. So here's an idea. This campus visit, post-visit debrief thing. This is something that I always encourage students and families to do. You drive several hours probably, or you drive and you stay overnight, and then you get up early and find the place and you go tour, and it's kind of a big deal. And then a lot of times when you get done, it's like, okay, we got to go to the next place or we got to head back home or whatever. And a lot of times we don't take the time to just kind of breathe and pause and say, so what did you see and what did you think? Or we try to just, so is this where you want to go, Johnny? Are you going to apply here? And I think we need to take more time. And so I've always encouraged people to kind of carve out time and to be really intentional about, when we get done with the tour, so go back to the hotel room and let's just kind of chill for an hour or two because everyone's probably tired. It's kind of exhausting. But then let's go, we looked up that one cool burger place just off campus. Let's go there and let's sit down and really talk about what we saw, what we think, what questions we have, etc. So now if you're doing a virtual campus visit, well, you can't do that, I suppose. But you can still have a family conversation. So maybe when you get done, and why don't you make this fun? We've all got, or most of us have these large screen TVs hanging somewhere in a family room. Like, why don't you do the campus visit there instead of just on your phone? Why don't you get mom on one side, dad on the other side, the student in the middle, and look at that video. Pullman's or Washington State's got this great drone video of Pullman and the area. Do that. I'll bet it's amazing. Look at that on a really, really big screen, and then sit down, have a meal, or even better yet, go out and talk about this, just like you would if you were there and going to that fun burger joint afterwards, hoping to bump into a server that went there or the owner that can tell you about it and talk about these things. That hasn't changed. So many of these things haven't changed. And I'm excited that there are a lot of options out there. And I'm also frustrated that people think that everything has changed, but it hasn't. You need to make forward progress. And the first one that you do, it's going to be kind of weird if you haven't. And the next one's going to be better. And the next one and the next one. You know what? If you're doing all of this virtually, it's 100% free. And I don't know about you, but I've kind of gone through everything on Netflix that I'm vaguely interested in. And so I actually think tonight on the big screen, I'm going to cast this sucker up there and I'm going to go back and I'm going to do exactly what I just told you to do. I'm going to watch videos of Pullman, Washington and Washington State until I feel like I could give the tour there. Okay. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to focus on what you can do and not focus on what you can't do. If you've got any questions, please talk to me. I am Tom at oncampuscollegeplanning.com. Tom at oncampuscollegeplanning.com. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, and you can go to oncampuscollegeplanning.com and sign up for a free consult. And if you're a family that we're already working with, maybe we did some ACT test prep, and you kind of want to know more about this whole college search thing, and you feel like I'd kind of like someone to help, we've got some great options in terms of working with families to really energize the process, to bring my expertise to this, and to really help you as kind of a tour guide along the way, to help you not only figure out where you need to do a virtual visit, but to really hold that mirror up to you and figure out what are the things you need, don't want in your college experience, and how are we going to find the ones that match up with that. So please contact me. We're going to run a little special offer with that as well. I hope you have a great day. Go visit some campus tonight. Bye.